The biggest mistake you can do right now is if you focus in only one thing. A lot of people who start their businesses nowadays, they say, a lot of them say like, hey, I want to be an expert in this thing, I want to be an expert on that, I want to be an expert on that one. If you're thinking on starting an online business or any business in general, you gotta be able to like know lots of different stuff. If you're an expert on only one thing, let's say you're an expert on design, you're an expert on coding, on programming, on software development, anything like that, you're just being a good employee. What that means is that if you're only focusing on one thing, you will only be an expert on that, and your value will be limited to, let's say, only a company. But if you're actually good at lots of stuff, you'll be able to provide different services to the businesses you get as clients. So why not focus on only one thing? Well, a lot of people I know personally, I know a lot of people who are actually really good at their job, and they know their thing, they know what they're doing, they know what their good spots are, what their weaknesses are, and the mistake they do and the thing that limits them is that they cannot do anything except that only thing. And that limits not only their potential, but it limits also their ability to get new people, like get new companies to work with. If you, let's say, you only know a programming language, let's say Node.js, let's say a C# or something like that, you are limited to like only being an employee. But in a different way, if you know lots of different programming languages, if you know, like, let's say a little bit of front end, if a little bit of back end, project management, you'll be able to take on much different tasks, and you will be able to evolve much more rather than if you would have been with like only a programming language. And that applies to business as well. On an online business, you got to be able to know how like branding works, how strategies work, how a website works. You got to know to do all these small things yourself. For someone, they may not be small, but for you as a business owner, they gotta be small. Like, you gotta know how to develop your own website. You gotta know how to get your own brand, like the coloring and like the font, like everything that goes into the business. Let's go into the accounting. You gotta understand how accounting works. If you have a business and you don't know the basics of accounting, you are set to failure. Like, you gotta learn all that stuff. It's nothing so complex. The only thing complex is the advanced stuff. But for a beginner, which most of you are because you're watching these videos, for a beginner, you gotta know everything a little bit. You gotta know how to design a little bit. You gotta know how to develop a little bit. You gotta know how to talk to people a little bit. You gotta learn English. Like, English is the first language to get international clients. During my 8 years of experience, I've had the chance to talk to lots of different people, and what I've noticed is that the most successful ones, they know how to do lots of different stuff. Maybe even if they don't know how to do lots of stuff, they have knowledge for it. You can talk to them about literally different lessons, different things, different like conversations, and they are able to at least tell you some words about it. They've heard. You gotta be general. You have to not make the mistake to limit yourself to only one thing. You gotta be more general, because also the market right now, it's full of developers. Like 20 years ago, people were more into construction, maybe medical business, let's say like lawyers, stuff like that. But right now, we all know that the tech industry is booming all over the world. Everything's evolving around tech. Like the richest man in the world, he's the richest man because he has done something with technology. And Amazon, like Jeff Bezos, what he did is he created this platform where like people can buy stuff, people can sell stuff. And who is he? He's one of the most richest men on planet Earth. So first things first, we know that this century is a tech century. So what do? You gotta get some skills into tech, a little bit of programming, a little bit of designing. Like, you never know what will come into your doorstep. You gotta be ready for everything. When you have these basics, like, you know, programming, you know, a little bit networking, cybersecurity, you know, a little bit of design, like, your area of like expertise broadens much more, because on each one of those you can be, let's say, medium, intermediate, not an expert, but you can have an advanced knowledge about it and you can function in the market. But if you're only like, let's say, in only one of those, like, you can work. It will be easy. Like, you'll find a job. You will probably get paid like 5,000-6,000 a year when you're like at 5 years in or like 7 years in, but that's all you can do. And if you want to build a business, you want to scale it to, let's say, you're getting like $1 million a year or like 100,000 every month with a couple businesses, just by coding, yeah, that's not the way it goes. So one of the tips I'm going to give you in this video is learn how numbers work, learn accounting, learn security, like on technology, learn how to talk with people, with clients. I have a video that like actually tells you step by step on how to get clients. The other one would be like website development, coding a little bit. Like it doesn't mean just website coding. You got to learn also like a little bit of software development. You got to understand graphic design as well, like a little bit with videos, because you've seen like people are looking for TikTok video editors, like short form video editors. So that's a booming business. And these are the main things you need nowadays. So yeah, try to learn all this stuff. Let's say after 3 months, let me know how it went. And this is Egji signing off.